Welcome to the Leading Owls podcast, brought to you by Rice University's Door Institute for New Leaders. Each week, we bring you inspiring stories and practical tips from successful student leaders, faculty, and staff, along with leadership experts and coaches that will help guide you in your own leadership journey. In this episode of the Leading Owls podcast, we sit down with Arturo, one of the 2025 O-Week coordinators, whose leadership is fueled by curiosity, cultural insight, and a passion for building community. As an international student deeply involved in scientific research at both the Bonner Nuclear Lab and the Rice Space Institute, Arturo shares how his experiences in the lab have shaped his approach to teamwork, communication, and leading with empathy. We talk about his vision for a meaningful and inclusive O-Week, what it's like to blend Rice traditions with his own personality and leadership style, and how student organizations like the Rice International Student Association and the Society of Physics and Astronomy students have supported his journey. Plus, Arturo gives advice for new students, tips on getting involved in research early, and answers some rapid-fire questions, including the song that gets him hyped for O-Week. This episode is a must-listen for anyone interested in student leadership, science, or finding your place at Rice. Please welcome Arturo. Hi, Arturo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. Thank you so much for the invitation as well. I'm super happy to be here. So thank you.
Give us a quick rundown, your college, major, year in school.
Okay. So hi, I'm Arturo Amarilla. I'm a current junior. I'm majoring in astrophysics. So yeah, an interesting major here in Rice. I'm from Lubbock College, the best college. You heard something about other colleges. They're probably lying. Lubbock is the best. But yeah.
I love college pride. It's my favorite thing about Rice.
Oh, yeah.
So what inspired you to apply to be an O-Week coordinator for 2025?
I think it's like a mix of all the experiences I had so far led me to this moment, I would say. During freshman year, when I was a new student, O-Week definitely shaped my experience. My first year was actually like amazing thanks to O-Week. The people I met there, the advisors and everyone, the PAA definitely made my first year like super easy. Then later I became an advisor because I wanted to collaborate. I wanted to be part of that process, help the new students there. And eventually I was like, okay, I still want to give back what I received during my freshman year. And as an advisor, I have a wonderful experience. So I was like, I think the next step is going to be to become an O-Week core and try to add some of my visions, some of my new ideas, and, just be part of this process on a more like behind the scenes scale sometimes, but also like, be in the big picture as well. So yeah, I was like, just like a mix of all the experiences I had so far that led me here.
Now, how would you describe your vision for creating a meaningful and welcoming O-Week experience?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question because it's super hard to describe O-Week in just a couple of words, right? There's a lot of things going on during O-Week. So one of the first things we definitely want to do is like make all the new students feel welcome, make them know that they belong here from like the first second they arrive here, and show them about the pride, about the college's pride, as you mentioned before, about like our culture as Rice students, because like things are here, but also not only like prepare them academically, because we think about this and I say, oh, we're going to college. Am I going to have a good grades and things like that? So make them feel comfortable and prepare academically as well. But also it's a new stage in our lives here. You're living home, you're meeting a lot of new people, new experiences. So everything is new. So we want to make sure that they also feel prepared and they can grow as a person and develop new ideas, be able to, exchange thoughts about different topics and things like that as well. So I would say it's a mix of like a bit of like every brick we can put there.
What's been the most rewarding and most challenging part of planning O-Week so far?
I would say with the challenging. I think one of the things that as a core is super challenging at the beginning specifically is that like O-Week basically doesn't wait for you. You become an O-Week core and it's like, congrats, you're a core. And suddenly it's like, these are all the things that is going to happen for O-Week. These are all the things you have to work on starting from tomorrow. So you become a core and you see the big picture and there's a lot of things, a lot of work, and it's kind of easy to stress or feel anxious about like, oh, how am I supposed to do all these things in this amount of time? So the challenge part was definitely like just like the beginning, like not getting stressed with like all the things you have to do, which takes me to the rewarding part because like once you learn that you build everything like brick by brick, step by step, that's actually super rewarding because you can see how like, okay, this is the first step, our first goal. And when you're working on that and finish it, you're like, okay, we're done with the first part. Then we go to the next and to the next. And eventually you start to see everything building a little bit. Things start to make sense. And it's like, okay, I know where this is going to, where are we pointing? And you can see some of like your own personality, your own like ideas there as well. So I would say that's like one of the most rewarding things there.
How do you balance the Lubbock traditions that already exist with your own vision and personality and things you want to do as a cord?
I think it's always important to be conscious about both things. to understand rice traditions, to be like, to know their purpose, understand why we're proud about that, be conscious about that, but also you shouldn't be scared of like, bring the new things to the table. So I see like the traditions, if I can do it in more like poetic way, I would say the traditions are kind of like the canvas in which you have like some freedom where you can like draw your ideas. So it's kind of like a template that you have there, but with total freedom, like you can do this, you can add this. So I would say both of them together. One's adding a lot of things to the other. It's just a matter of like being conscious, like what is the purpose of each of the things you're working with.
I love that. That's really beautiful. It's definitely like that. That does give you, the traditions are something you can build on. I love that.
Thank you.
How has being an international student shaped the way that you approach leadership and community building at Rice?
Oh, yeah, that definitely shapes a lot of my vision for a week. And as you mentioned, my leadership style, I would say I'm someone that became super conscious of like the sense of community, always trying to build that and trying to make sure everyone is included. For example, make some of the interactions easier. So being international is hard at the beginning. You feel like, oh, new country, new person, like everything is different here. So that might be also stressful for people. You don't necessarily need to be an international student to feel like that. Sometimes you go to a different group of friends and you feel like a stranger, right? So those experiences definitely helped me in terms of like thinking, how can we approach these things? How can we like make these interactions happen in an easier way? How can we make sure we're listening to everyone here? Because everyone has like different ideas that actually are worth it to listen to. So definitely, yeah, it's like opening your mind. And yeah, I would say like that's the main thing I learned as international student now in this position as well. I can see how that like it's actually paying off. It's really super rewarding.
I think that's so true. When you come here, you definitely have to have an open mind. So it's nice for them to have you to remind them to keep open minds.
Yes. And also that's how like the best conversations happen, right? In like different fields, I would say that people negotiating, you cannot negotiate new ideas for example, if you're not open-minded, if you're not like able to listen to the other person, if you don't make sure that the other person is saying what they're trying to say, explaining that. So definitely that's super important for us.
You're doing research with both the Bonner Nuclear Lab and the Rice Space Institute. What excites you most about those projects?
Oh, yes. So there's a lot of things. Doing research at Rice is one of the best thing ever, especially in the physics and astronomy department. It's basically like a big family. And so in the Bonner Nuclear Lab, I'm working with Professor Dr. Darren Acosta. In space, I'm working with Dr. Isela. Both of them like great professors, but also great tutors, great mentors. One of the things that is super exciting is how, like, as I mentioned, we're a big family. There's not like a division. There's like a on-paper division of like undergraduates, grad students, professor, faculty. But at the end of the day, it's like you know each other. You interact a lot with everyone, so you get exposed to everything. And it's super easy to get involved with like other people in research and get your own space. Sometimes when we mention on research, I say, oh, how do I convince this professor to take me? Do I have to compete with other students or things like that? I think like the department is super open to everyone. And it's definitely not a scary process. It's a matter of like sitting, talking to the professor. They're super approachable, all of that. It's just like, even from first year, you can be like, this is the skills I know. This is the classes I'm taking. How can I be part of this project? Or do you have a project in which I can be included? So everyone's super open. It's super approachable. Everyone in the faculty is great. So one of the things I think is an exciting experience would definitely be like this community sense we have in the department. And also it's just, they don't make it easy for you in terms of like there's always like this, I wouldn't say pressure, but like they're always pushing you to grow as well. You know, you're not gonna get bored of your project. There's always a lot of things to do, a lot of connections. The professor can connect you with other people. You can keep working, keep growing. And yeah, it's a wonderful experience, definitely.
How has your scientific research influenced how you think as a leader or a team collaborator?
One of the things that I learned in the science taught me since I got here is that you are not going anywhere alone by yourself. Collaboration is key. And that definitely applies to everything. That applies to all week. Not only the course, for example, I'm from Lobes, so we're 3. Hi, Bruce. Hi, Abby, if you're seeing this.
Oh, Bruce is one of our ambassadors.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're great. So we're 3 working together. You definitely need more than one. There's a lot of work. But also, as I mentioned, like there's a lot of ideas that I cannot come up with some ideas by myself. There's always there's a construction and you need like 3 people to do that. And for all week in general, you have like more course, other colleges, you have Rice faculty, FYP, first year programs. It's like you will not go anywhere just working by yourself. This experience that I get from science, I'm applying them as an all week, definitely. But yeah.
What advice would you give to students who want to get involved in research early on in college?
Getting involved in research compared to some ideas we have before coming to college, for us at least, it's not like applying for a job. You don't have an interview with your professor. As I mentioned, they're super approachable. So take that advantage. Is there a professor that maybe you're taking a class with them? After class, stay and just talk to them, be like, hey, what you work on? Or you can probably know already what they work on because they might have their own website, for example. And just be like, oh, I'm interested in this. Can we talk a little bit about that? There's no need to be scared. The professors will not bite you. They're actually the greatest people. So as I mentioned, take advantage that they are approachable and just sit down and talk to them and explain. You will definitely find a place where to work. Some of them will feed you in their lab. They will start a new project in which you can develop new skills. Or if they cannot, they will always connect you to other professors because they know each other as well. So they always connect you. So you will end up somewhere definitely. So just don't be scared. It's not like applying for a job. There's no interview. You don't have to prepare for talking to the professor. Just say, you can take a leave it's kind of informal in that way. So just say you're a student, you're interested in research, you want to grow academically as a person as well. So just take the advantage.
I think that's such great advice, especially when you get here. Professors can seem just so like the Wizard of Oz up at the top, and you're down here. And so they're just people and they're there to help you. And it's such good advice to just go ask them what they're working on.
No, definitely. And I would say having a professor here at Rice again is the best thing ever because they are not only your professors, they are also your mentor. If you have questions about class questions related or I don't know, your major, for example, you're considering other majors, other things. They're definitely the best people to go and talk to you, definitely. Most of them will sit down and talk to you more in an informal way. Definitely, it's like a big family, so definitely not reason to be scared.
You're active in both the Rice International Student Association and the Society of Physics and Astronomy. How have these groups supported your student experience?
Wonderful question. Definitely, they're super key, especially when you're here for your first and second year, because always you don't know anyone, you want to connect with people, and nothing better than connecting with people that might have the same experiences, might have the same visions and goals. The international community, one of the creators here at Rice as well, definitely help you a lot with when you're here for the first time, help you with connecting with other groups as well, and just finding a place where you can call home super easy. Wonderful. And also the physics and astronomy students. As I mentioned already, the physics and astronomy community, we're a big family. So knowing other students that are taking the same classes or are taking the classes that you're going to take next semester, next year, is wonderful because you can always have some tips. You can always kind of plan things ahead if you want to, but also you can just talk about other things you're interested. I have a lot of friends where they're, for example, seniors now, and they're doing their grad school application. So they're commenting, they're giving me tips about that as well. But also we can have more unserious times where we just sit down and talk about things we like, right? Could be science, definitely. Could be just rice related. So yeah, they definitely help you find some places where you belong and super easy to open up in those spaces because you feel welcome from the first second there.
What's something you've learned about yourself through your involvement in leadership at Rice?
I learned that the human being, it's about me, but also I will expand it. I think the human being can be more flexible than we think. We're definitely in a growing process every single second here. So the amount of things you can learn, the amount of things you can change your mind, for example, is crazy, right? And then being involved in these kind of things help you realize that, but also develop these things and be open to the change, definitely. If you do that, actually, you will grow a lot and just be flexible with things. Those things will take you somewhere. I can say desired, but I would say somewhere where you actually didn't imagine before. And you will be proud after that.
Now, here's a big one because you're involved in research and you're a student and OE Cord, which I know takes up a ton of time, so many other things. How do you manage your time and energy across such a demanding set of activities?
And being conscious of what you're going to do, think carefully in terms of how much time I will take to do things. And I think it's really good if you have experience, if you know yourself a bit. During freshman year, we have a lot of experiences where you have classes, and it's a typical thing that we want to get involved on campus during freshman year, but we cannot do everything, right? So it's something we need to learn about, how much can we do? What's our limit, right? So I think knowing those things will definitely help at the beginning because it will tell yourself how you work and what's your style in this case as well, right? So definitely just a little bit of self-reflection, be this is how I work, this is my style, this is how much time I need to rest. This is how much time I would like to dedicate to this before getting involved in those things. It's actually a really good things to do. And once you're there, I think you will be super open to what you have to do. As I mentioned, also be flexible. I think, at least for me, being flexible always helped me a lot in terms of like, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this as well. Which one is more convenient for me to do it now? Things like that. It's like to not get in a square where you have to do this right now or otherwise X. I think like that thing is actually super important. So I will say just like finding a really good balance between what you can prepare in advance and what you can actually, let's say, improvise. Not necessarily improvise, but in terms of like, work with the flow a little bit. So keep that like open and in terms of like, oh, now I have extra time. I can start with this. Or, oh, I might need more time for working on this. So be able to adjust those things will definitely be a really good skill for later, I would say as well.
What's one piece of advice you'd offer to new students coming to Rice to a week this fall?
First of all, as I mentioned, Rice is not a conventional place, so come here prepared. But again, I wouldn't say you're not here just to study, you're here to play for next year. So just come here, prepare to grow a lot with an open mind, as I mentioned. I don't know, don't get stressed about college. I think OWIC is one of the greatest experiences you will have here. So come here with the idea of like getting to know people, making friends, making these bonds, and getting familiar with your college. It's okay, prepare academically as well, but there's a lot of other things that are also important. So yeah, just like come here and have fun. I also like don't get super anxious about those things yet. I think there's like a order in that sense, or there's some priorities. And I would say real priority for now would be just to enjoy. You made it, you're here, you're a Rice student now. So a week will be like one of the most wonderful experiences you will have. So just make sure you're enjoying and remembering that.
All right, now it's time for some rapid fire questions. What's your favorite study spot on campus?
I would say Charles. I know that's a hot take, but yeah, I like being around people.
What is your favorite Lubbock College tradition?
I really love commons culture. No matter what time you're there, there's always people studying or just like taking a break, playing games. There's always like some activity there. So definitely that.
What is your go-to drink at Chows?
Oh, I like to explore like the drink of the month. For example, now I'm trying the baklava.
Baklava?
Yeah, baklava one.
Oh,
yeah.
I have not heard of that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm an explorer in that sense.
I love that. What is one word to describe your time at Rice?
Well, I think we use this word a lot, but rewarding definitely. And I love that word because it's like not only like contains the positive things, but also the negatives. Like as I mentioned, it's like all your experiences. It's the sum of all your experiences, your bad decisions, your good decisions, all the things that happen led you here. And I think at the end of the day, you will feel like super happy what you have done so far. So I would say rewarding.
I love that. What's a song that gets you hyped for a week?
Ooh, I really like Memories, but that's also because that was the OWIC song during my freshman year. So definitely it's like the first sense I got. And yeah, it's like every time I listen to that song, it's like, oh, OWIC, and I'm so ready to go. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, for sharing your passion for OWIC and your experience as an international student here at Rice, in your research. That was so cool to hear about the fact that you're an undergrad who is also doing research. That's such a really cool thing that you get to do here at Rice. And we're so excited about OWIC, and we can't wait to see everything you guys are going to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much again for the invitation. I'm so happy. And yeah, and welcome to everyone that's joining us for OWIC. And yeah, we are super happy to receive you here. Excited that you will call Rice your next home. We will have a lot of fun.
Thank you for joining us for the Leading Owls podcast. We will be back next week with more leadership journeys and tips to share. New episodes release each Wednesday. For more information on the Door Institute for New Leaders and our free leader development programs for Rice students, please visit door.rice.edu.